It started with fire. Fire in Hawaii. Fire so bright you could see it from space. It was 3:42 in the morning. Most people were sleeping. Then the sky turned red. Two jets of lava shot up from Kilauea. They went higher than tall buildings, higher than anything you've ever seen. The lava fountains reached 1,100 feet. That's taller than the Eiffel Tower. Hot rock flew into the sky. It glowed orange and red. The ground shook. The air got hot. So hot you could feel it miles away. Helicopters flew close to film it. Their cameras caught everything. The lava, the smoke, the power. But something else was happening, something nobody expected. Far away from Hawaii, machines started beeping. These machines measure earthquakes. They sit all around the Pacific Ocean, in Alaska, in Japan, in Chile, in Tonga, and they all went off at once. Not big earthquakes, small ones, but they happened at the same time. Too fast to be random, too perfect to be luck. Scientists saw the data. They looked at their screens. They couldn't believe it. One scientist said this: "It's like the Earth took a breath, and the whole Pacific felt it." Was it connected? Maybe. The Pacific Ocean sits on huge plates of rock. These plates float on hot liquid deep underground. They push against each other. They pull apart. They slide and crash. When one plate moves, it pushes others. Like dominoes. One falls, then another, then another. Could Kilauea be the first domino? Most scientists said no. They called it coincidence. Volcanoes erupt all the time, they said. Earthquakes happen every day. It doesn't mean they're connected. But some scientists weren't sure. They looked at the timing. They looked at the pattern. Something felt wrong. Or maybe something felt right. Like the planet was telling them something. The Ring of Fire is a line of volcanoes. It circles the Pacific Ocean. Most of Earth's volcanoes live there. Most earthquakes happen there. It's shaped like a horseshoe. It touches Alaska, Japan, Indonesia, New Zealand, Chile, Mexico, and Hawaii sits right in the middle. The ring has been quiet lately, not dead, just sleeping. But maybe it was waking up. Maybe Kilauea was the alarm clock. Deep underground, heat was building. Pressure was rising, rock was melting, and it was spreading. Not just under Hawaii, under the whole Pacific. Scientists in dark labs looked at their computers. They saw glowing dots on maps. Each dot was a small earthquake. Each dot was a tremor. Each dot was a warning. The dots formed a circle, a ring, the Ring of Fire. One scientist whispered to another, "This could be it." "It could be what?" the other asked. "The chain reaction we've been afraid of." Nobody wanted to say it out loud. Nobody wanted to believe it. But the data was clear. Something under the Pacific was moving. Something big. The lava fountains in Hawaii kept shooting. Higher, hotter, brighter. Red light filled the sky. People took videos. They posted them online. The world watched. But they didn't know what they were really seeing. They thought it was just another eruption. Beautiful, scary, normal. But it wasn't normal. This was different. This was the beginning. The scientists got to work. They had to know if this was real. Were these earthquakes connected, or was it just bad luck? They started in Honolulu, a team of volcano experts. They looked at pressure data from Kilauea. The numbers showed something strange. The pressure dropped right before the eruption. That's normal. But then something else happened. At the exact same time, pressure rose in Tonga. Tonga is 4,000 miles away. How could that happen? One scientist explained it like this. Imagine a balloon full of water. If you squeeze one side, the other side bulges out. The Pacific Ocean floor works the same way. When one part drops, another part rises. When one plate moves down, another moves up. It's all connected. One push here, one pull there, like a heartbeat traveling through stone. The team looked at satellite pictures, pictures from space. NASA and other space agencies take pictures of Earth's heat. They can see hot spots, places where the ground is warming up. The pictures showed something amazing. Hot spots were appearing all around the Pacific, not just in Hawaii, in Alaska, in Japan, in Tonga, in Chile, all at once. From space, it looked like a pulse, a ring of heat, forming, fading, forming again, like the Earth was breathing. Some scientists still didn't believe it. Coincidences happen, they said. Volcanoes erupt randomly, they said. There's no connection, they said. But other scientists disagreed. They looked at history, they found patterns. In 1960, a huge earthquake hit Chile, 9.5 magnitude, the biggest ever recorded. 4 years later, Alaska had a massive quake, 9.2 magnitude. Then in 1975, Hawaii shook. Was that a chain reaction too? Maybe. The Pacific Plate is huge. It covers half the ocean floor. When one part breaks, it changes everything. Stress moves across the rock. It can travel thousands of miles. Sometimes it takes years to show up. Sometimes it takes days or hours. The team kept digging through data. They found something that made them stop. Before Kilauea erupted, there was a signal, a tiny tremor pattern, a specific shake in the ground. Scientists call it a harmonic tremor. It means magma is moving. That signal happened 3 hours before the eruption. Now they saw the same signal again, in 2 new places, the Kuril Islands near Russia and the Tonga Trench in the South Pacific. The exact same pattern, the exact same rhythm. It was like hearing the same song in different rooms. One scientist looked at the others. It's not theory anymore. The pattern is real. But what did it mean? Were these places about to erupt? Would there be more earthquakes? How big? How soon? Nobody knew. The Earth doesn't tell us her plans, she just moves. And we watch, and we wait. News started spreading, not big news yet, just whispers in science groups. Have you seen the Pacific data? Something weird is happening. Keep watching the ring. Most people didn't notice. They were busy with their lives. But deep underground, something was changing. The pulse was getting stronger, the pattern was getting clearer, and the next move was coming. Where would it hit? When would it happen? The scientists stayed up late, watching screens, checking numbers, waiting for the next signal. In Hawaii, the lava kept flowing. In Alaska, small tremors continued. In Japan, old volcanoes started venting steam. Nothing big, not yet, just hints, just warnings. The Earth was talking, but was anyone listening? One scientist said it best. We've been watching the Ring of Fire for decades. We know it's dangerous, we know it's connected, but we've never seen it act like this. It's like watching an orchestra tune their instruments. Everything is warming up, and we're waiting for the symphony to start. The question wasn't if anymore. The question was when and how loud would it be. The data kept coming in, and it wasn't good. All around the Pacific, things were changing. Not one place, not 2 places, everywhere. Alaska's Aleutian Islands started acting strange. Steam rose from old volcanic vents that had been quiet for years. In Tonga, underwater sensors detected heat, deep ocean heat, rising from cracks in the seafloor. In Japan, Mount Sakurajima started glowing again. Red light at the summit, ash in the air. In Chile, Villarrica volcano sent up black smoke. Different countries, different volcanoes, but one pattern. They were all waking up. A scientist in Tokyo made a video call to a scientist in California. They compared notes. "It's happening in my region," said one. "Mine too," said the other. "How is this possible?" they both asked. The answer lies underground. Deep underground, miles below the ocean floor. That's where the Pacific Plate lives. It's not one solid piece. It's broken into sections. These sections push and pull. They grind against each other. When one section moves, it affects the others. Think of it like this. Imagine a cracked ice sheet on a lake. If you push down on one crack, what happens? Other cracks shift. Some open wider, some close up, some pieces tilt. The Pacific Plate works the same way. When Kilauea erupted, it released pressure. That pressure had to go somewhere. It traveled through the rock. It moved along the plate boundaries. It found weak spots, and it pushed. Now those weak spots were responding. Scientists showed this with simple drawings, arrows pointing from Hawaii outward like ripples in a pond. But these ripples were underground, and they moved through solid rock, slowly but surely. Some scientists were scared. Others said, "Don't panic." One scientist said this: "These systems aren't directly linked. We're seeing patterns that don't exist." But another scientist disagreed. "We said the same thing before Tohoku in 2011. Then the seafloor moved 50 meters in 1 minute." Tohoku was the big Japanese earthquake. It caused a massive tsunami. Over 15,000 people died. Nobody saw it coming. Could this be like that? Maybe. Maybe worse. Then new data arrived. The scariest data yet. Deep ocean pressure sensors picked up something, a wave, not a water wave, a pressure wave, moving through the Earth's mantle. The mantle is the hot liquid under the crust. It flows like thick honey. And this wave was moving fast, faster than anyone expected. It crossed 3,000 miles in 2 days. Scientists called it the Tonga spike, a spike in magma pressure, deep underground, moving from Hawaii toward Tonga, then toward Indonesia, then toward Japan. Was this the connection they feared? Was this proof of the chain reaction? Some said yes, some said maybe. Nobody said no anymore. One scientist put it simply, something beneath us is stirring. Something that doesn't care about borders or politics or predictions. It's moving, and we're just watching. Computer models tried to predict what would happen next. They showed different scenarios. Best case, a few small eruptions, some minor earthquakes, then quiet again. Worst case, multiple major eruptions, big earthquakes, tsunamis, chaos around the Pacific. Middle case, somewhere in between. But which one would happen? Nobody knew. The Earth doesn't follow our models. She does what she wants, when she wants. Scientists created a visualization. A picture of Earth from space, with the mantle shown in red and yellow, hot currents flowing, pressure building, energy moving. It looked like a living thing, like the planet had a pulse, like it was breathing. The Pacific Ring of Fire glowed bright, a horseshoe of heat and pressure, circling half the world. And right now it was active. More active than it had been in decades, maybe more active than it had been in centuries. One scientist recorded a video message for other scientists, for the public, for anyone who would listen. He said this: "The Ring of Fire is a system, a connected system. When one part moves, others respond. We're watching that happen right now in real time. We don't know how big this will get. We don't know how long it will last. But we know it started in Hawaii. And we know it's not finished." The video ended. The screen went dark. But the Earth kept moving. Deep below the Pacific, pressure continued building. Magma continued rising. Plates continued shifting. And somewhere in the ring, the next rupture was preparing. Where would it break? When would it happen? Was this the beginning of something huge? Or just a small hiccup in the planet's long life? Time would tell. But for now, one thing was certain. The Ring of Fire was awake. And it was watching us back. Back in Hawaii, people were scared. The big island wasn't safe anymore, not the parts near Kilauea. Lava was spreading, roads were blocked, houses were threatened. Evacuation orders went out. Sirens blared through the night. Loudspeakers told people to leave. Grab what you can, get out now. Families packed their cars, clothes, photos, important papers. Everything else had to stay. One woman filmed the sky. Orange light everywhere, ash falling like snow. She said this into her phone. "This is real. This is happening. We have to go." Her voice shook. You could hear the fear. The roads filled with cars. Everyone heading away from the volcano. Some people looked back. They saw their homes. Maybe for the last time. One man said it best. You could hear it. The earth breaking, like thunder underground. Like the world was ripping apart. For the scientists, this was data, measurements, and numbers. But for the people living there, it was life. Their homes, their memories, their safety, all of it at risk. And this wasn't the first time. In 2018, Kilauea erupted for months. Lava destroyed over 700 homes. Families lost everything. Now it was happening again. The Earth doesn't remember. She doesn't care. She just moves. This has always been true. Throughout history, the Ring of Fire has shaped human life. In 1960, the Chile earthquake killed thousands. The tsunami it caused reached Hawaii in 15 hours. Then it hit Japan. Different countries, different people, but connected by the same ocean. In 1964, Alaska shook for 4 minutes. The ground rose 30 feet in some places. Entire towns were destroyed. In 2011, Japan's Tohoku earthquake changed everything. A wall of water hit the coast. Over 15,000 people died. Fukushima nuclear plant melted down. The world watched in horror. Each time, humanity rebuilt. We're good at that. We adapt, we recover, we build again, but each time, the Earth reminds us she's stronger, she's older, she's not done moving. The Pacific Ring of Fire isn't just geology. It's part of human civilization. Major cities sit right on it. Tokyo, Los Angeles, Santiago, Manila, millions of people, millions of homes, all on shaking ground. Our ports are there. Our internet cables run under that ocean. Our trade routes cross those waters. When the Earth moves, everything moves. Money, food, power, communication. All of it depends on stability, on the ground staying still, but the ground never stays still. Not really. It's always moving, just usually too slow to notice. One scientist explained it this way. We built our world on a thin crust. Below that crust is fire. We forget that until the fire comes back. In Hawaii, the evacuations continued. Emergency shelters opened, schools, gyms, community centers, families crowded in, kids slept on cots, parents checked their phones, waiting for news, waiting for updates. Is it safe to go home? How long will this last? Will there be another eruption? Nobody had answers, just guesses, just hopes. Outside, the volcano kept roaring, red fountains against black sky. Beautiful and terrible at the same time. Some people took pictures. They posted them online. The world watched. From a distance, it looked amazing. Fire and fury, nature's power on display. But up close, it was different. Up close, it was terrifying. One child asked her mother a question. Why is the mountain angry? The mother didn't know what to say. How do you explain volcanoes to a kid? How do you explain that the Earth isn't angry? It's just being itself. Finally, she said this. The mountain isn't angry, baby. It's just alive. That's the truth. The Earth is alive. It breathes, it moves, it changes, and we're just living on its surface, trying to hold on, trying to survive. Every time the Ring of Fire wakes up, we remember. We're small, we're temporary, we're guests on a planet that never stops moving. And all we can do is adapt, rebuild, and wait for the next time. Weeks passed. The lava fountains in Hawaii stopped. The bright orange glow faded, the ground cooled. Black rock covered what used to be roads, what used to be homes, what used to be forests. Kilauea went quiet again. The craters smoked, but the explosions ended. People started coming back. Some found their houses still standing. Others found nothing but rock. Black, hardened lava where their lives used to be. Scientists kept watching. They looked at their instruments. The small earthquakes around the Pacific continued. Slower now, quieter, but not gone. One scientist looked at the data and sighed. The fountains stopped, but the pressure didn't. It's still building down there. Deep underground, magma still moved. Plates still pushed. The Ring of Fire still lived. Was Kilauea the start of something bigger? Or was it just one event? A single moment in Earth's long life? Nobody knows yet. Maybe we'll never know. The Earth keeps her secrets. New models came out, computer predictions. Scientists tried to guess the future. Most models agreed on one thing. Volcanic activity is increasing, not just this year. For the next decade, maybe longer. The Pacific is entering an active phase. More eruptions, more earthquakes, more movement. But why? Why now? One scientist said this. We don't know why. The Earth has cycles, long cycles, hundreds of years, thousands of years. Maybe we're at the start of a new cycle. Maybe we're in the middle, we just don't know. That's the scary part. We can measure, we can observe, we can predict some things, but we can't know everything. The Earth is too big, too old, too complex. We're like ants, trying to understand a human. We see small parts. We miss the big picture. One scientist put it beautifully. To the planet, this is nothing, a sigh in a billion-year breath. To us, it's everything. Proof that we live on a world that never stops moving. That's the truth. We built cities on shifting ground. We made plans for a stable Earth. But the Earth is never stable. Not really. She's always moving, always changing, always alive. The Pacific Ring of Fire will erupt again. Maybe next year, maybe tomorrow, maybe right now as you hear these words. We can prepare, we can warn people, We can evacuate, we can build stronger buildings, but we can't stop it. The Earth is more powerful than us. She always has been. She always will be. From space, Earth looks peaceful. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land. Beautiful, but beneath that beauty, fire burns. Rock melts. Plates crash. The ring of fire circles the Pacific. Quiet now, but awake. Always awake. One volcano sleeps while another wakes. One earthquake ends while another begins. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a heartbeat. The heartbeat of a living planet. From Kilauea's crater, smoke still rises, thin and gray. A reminder, a warning. One scientist recorded a final message. He stood near the cooling lava, black rock behind him, blue sky above. He said this: "From one eruption to the next, the pattern continues. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's the start of something far greater. Either way, the ring of fire is awake, and it's not going back to sleep anytime soon." The camera turned off. The scientist walked away, but the Earth stayed, moving, breathing, waiting. And somewhere deep below, in the dark heat of the mantle, pressure builds again. The next eruption is coming. We don't know where, we don't know when, but it's coming. It always does. The ring of fire never sleeps. Not really, it just waits and watches and remembers that it was here first.